Read The Bridge of Trust. Story by Ennio. In a far-off, unknown universe, and a land where few dared to venture for travel, there was a magical bridge, built upon trust. The bridge crossed from one terrain to another, with the void, or what many know as outer space, lying beneath and between the lands. In this land, people used this bridge to choose who would lead their nation. They would select two individuals who knew each other and aspired to different positions, such as president and vice president, and ask them to take a few steps on the magical bridge of trust. The magical bridge, built upon trust, required one to step onto it with faith in the other person. The bridge could only be tested by two individuals, based on the trust each had in the other. Its planks were invisible, and beneath it lay the infinite void. If the person stepping onto the bridge did not trust the other, they would fall into the void, thus revealing their lack of trust to everyone, and they would perish. One day, when the time for elections came, two candidates were chosen to be tested. Both the people of the entire country and the two candidates gathered at the bridge of trust. The one who desired to become vice president stepped onto the bridge first, with great confidence, while the people happily admired him as he floated above the void. Then, the vice president turned his gaze to the one who wanted to lead the country, eagerly waiting, like all the other people, to see the future leader of the nation step onto the bridge with confidence. However, seeing the void and fearing both death and revealing his lack of trust to the people, he hesitated to step onto the bridge. At that moment, the crowd exclaimed, "Step onto the bridge if you are a man of trust." "Why are you afraid?" The presidential candidate looked at them and replied, "I am a man of trust, and that is why the candidate for vice president could step onto the bridge with confidence, because he knows me. However, I also know him, and I know that if I were to step onto the bridge, I would fall into the void, which would lead to my death. Because this man is not a man of trust." Then the crowd truly understood the situation and decided to seek two other candidates. The current leader of the country looked at the crowd and said, "What is to be done? Find someone among you who is worthy to take over the leadership of the country." After a moment of silence in which people looked at each other in bewilderment, a voice from the crowd shouted, "The twins, Alex and Marian. They are trustworthy." Immediately, people's eyes turned to two twin brothers who were somewhere in the crowd, and then the people exclaimed, "Yes, climb onto the bridge. We all know you. Your father was a hard-working and good man, and you are the same." The two brothers began to advance towards the bridge, making their way through the crowd, which slowly parted to make way for them, creating a path in the sea of people watching them approach the bridge of trust with small steps. Alex stepped onto the bridge first, and after a moment, Marian joined him, neither of them falling into the void beneath the bridge. The crowd began to applaud and exclaim, "Long live our new leaders." The two descended from the magical bridge and stepped into the crowd. The story goes that the two brothers still rule the country. The end.